Hello everyone, my name is Aryan Bhandari and this is Java course by DoCoNation. So in previous session we learned about operators and taking input from users in Java, and in this session we'll be learning about if-else conditional statements, types of loops, and some overview of methods in Java. Let's start with if-else conditional statements. Why do we use if-else? Suppose in my previous session I have showed you an example, right? If a person is not above 18 or he have a driving license, he can drive a vehicle, right? So I did not show you how to code it, but I have used if over here and I have used and. Okay, so these two are keywords in Java, so I'll be using that. So if we need to write a program where if a person is above 18 and he has a driving license, so we'll allow him to drive a vehicle. Okay, so I'm just hard coding the variables. You can try taking inputs using scanner class. Okay, so let's just say age is equals 18 for now, and I'll take a boolean of is DL. Okay, let's just say DL, driving license. Whether he has a driving license, if he has a driving license, he or she, then it is true or it is false. Okay, so right now I'm making it as true. Okay, and in the if, so this is how we write this. If is a keyword, and inside a parenthesis we write our conditions. Okay, so age must be greater than or equal to 18, and we are using a and operator, which we have already seen, right? And what we have DL. Okay, and whether he has DL or not is equals true. Okay, so if this is true, then we will print you can drive. Okay, so our age is 18 and we have DL also. So what do you guys think? What will be the output? So let me write a else statement also. So else is also a keyword, a reserved word in Java. And in this we can just say, so if this does not work, okay, if this is not the case, then what will happen? That will write in else block. Okay, so we can say that you cannot drive. So I'm gonna run it from here, and it says that you can drive, right? Because my age is 18 and I have a DL. But if I make it false, so I'm gonna again run it, and you cannot drive, right? Okay, so this you understood, right? If age is greater than or equals to 18, so age is given as 18 and we have DL as false, so this is false. Okay, so our DL is false and it is not equals to true, so this statement will give me a false value. Okay, but this statement will give me a true value, but true and false is equals to false. Okay, just take and as multiplication. Okay, and take true as 1 and false as 0. Okay, so let me just say true as 1 and false as 0. So if this statement is returning true, right? So this is returning, let's say it is returning 1, and this statement is returning me 0, because our DL is false, so false is not equals to true, so it's giving me a 0. And I just said that you can think it as a multiplication operator, so if you multiply it, you're gonna get 0, and which is false, and that's why if it is false, that means it will not come over here and it will go to the next block where you cannot drive the vehicle. Fine. Now I have also showed you a modulo operator, so let's just use it for another example, and let me comment this. So in Delhi we had odd even, right? So where if a vehicle has a odd number plate, they are only allowed to drive in odd days, and number plate who has even, they are allowed to drive in even days, right? So how to find that a number is even or not? Using if else statements and modulo operator. So let's say I have a number which is 2. So we know that 2 is an even number. So if our number modulo 2 is equals to 0. So let me not confuse you and make it 4. Okay, so no relation with the number and this value. Now if it is this way, I'm gonna say even, else if it is not a even number, I'll say not even, or you can write odd, whatever you wish to. So what is happening over here? Okay, let me just first run it and let's just see. So it's giving me even because 4 is a even number. So if I write 5, it's gonna give me not even because 5 is an odd number, and hence it's coming to the else block. Fine. Now what's exactly happening is, in this number, when you modulo with this, so our number is 4, right? So 4 modulo 2. So this is like this, 4 modulo 2. Now if we divide our so I have already taught you this modulo operator, right? So what will be the answer, guys, if we do 4 modulo 2? Yeah, 0. So this will give me 0, right? And 0 is equals to 0. That is true. So it's coming in this block and giving me even. But if I write 5, okay, if I write 5, then this will change to 5 modulo 2. Okay, now what will be the answer of 5 modulo 2? Yes, right, great. So it will give us 1. So 1 is 1 equals to 0? No, right? So it will come in the else block, and so it is giving me not even. Okay, so this is the main thing happening. Okay, so this was about if else statement. Let's move on to types of loops. So we have in Java, we have while loop, do while loop, for loop. One more loop we have, which is known as for each loop. That we'll study when we'll move on to arrays in Java. Okay, so that loop is basically meant for arrays usually. Okay, so while loop. Let's start with while loop. So what is the basic syntax of while loop? So before that, what is a loop? So if you want to do a thing, uh, if you want to perform a query again and again, so we'll use loop for that. Okay, so while is a keyword again. As you can see, the color is different. And in this parenthesis, I'm gonna write my condition, or you can say test expression. Okay, and over here I'm gonna write my some code. Okay, so this is the basic syntax of while loop. And suppose we need to print my let's say we need to print DoCogen for, let's say, 5 times. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just copy it for 5 times. Right, easy, right? I can copy it 5 times, I can print DoCogen. But if I need to print it for 1,000 times or 10,000 times, then it will be very hectic for me to write this much code to the 10 times. Okay, so this is the very simple code. Okay, only one line is there, but in most cases when you write more complex codes, there will be more number of lines, and that line, if you have to repeat, you have to write so many times. Okay, so it will be so complex and your code will not look clean at all, and that is not a good practice. Again, so we are performing this one line of code many times, so for that we'll use loops. Okay, I'm gonna put it inside this, and I wanted to run it 5 times, right? So let me declare a variable known as I. Okay, I'm gonna write as 5, and over here I'm gonna say while my I is greater than 5, if it is greater than 0. Okay, and it's gonna run, and if I run it like this, let me run it and show you. So it's gonna keep printing DoCogen. This is an infinite loop, and it's gonna break my system at some point, but I'm gonna terminate it from here. Okay, so for this, because my I is greater than 5, right? My 5 is greater than 0. that is true. So it will come in this loop again and again. It will keep printing this loop again and again. So that's why it was not stopping. But over here I will write another statement. Okay, so this is post decrement, right? I'm decrementing by I by 1. So when my I is 5 and 5 is greater than 0, it's gonna print then 5 minus minus. I'm using decrement operator, so it will become 4. Now again it will come over here. So 4 is greater than 0, again it's gonna print, then again my 4 is gonna decrement, 3 is greater than 0, and it's again gonna print till my I becomes 0, because 0 is not greater than 0, and it's gonna come out of this loop. Okay, I'm gonna save it and print it. So it's printing, right? Okay, so this was while loop. Now what is a do while loop? Very similar but a bit different. So do something while I'm gonna do a code while there is some condition. Okay, so some condition will be there over here. Okay, but in while, before starting only we are checking. Okay, in while we are checking first, and then we are going on to executing the code. But in do, over here we'll write the code. In do, we are gonna run that statement at least once. Okay, we are going to run that statement or block of code at least once, and then we are going to check the condition. So similarly we can write this over here, and let me comment if I run it, it's printing. Okay, now why do loop and why while loop? Okay, suppose let's say there is a system, let's say there in an airport there is a system which prints boarding pass for you. Okay, now the printer will have some limited ink, right? And at a time after a limit it will stop working or stop printing. So for that I have to print again and again for many users. So if I run a while loop, it will check the condition first. Okay, let's just say uh, let's say one person comes, he takes the boarding pass and he goes off, right? Similarly, second person will come, third person will come, and fourth person will come, and fifth, as soon as fifth person will come and take the printout, my limit is over. Okay, but when the sixth person will come, how will he know that the limit is over? Because while loop is just gonna end and he will not know anything, so the sixth person will not know what is happening. Okay, so for that I need to write some kind of code which prints at least one time that okay, even if it is over, right? Even if my limit is now 5, so I'm gonna print it that printing limit exceeded. Let me make a number. Okay, so n is number of people. Okay, and let's just it was 1 first, and 5 is our limit. Okay, so this is, I have already put in the condition that 5 is our limit, and after 5 we cannot print. All right, so 5 is our limit and n is less than 5, and I'm gonna print it. Okay, I'm gonna comment this one. So I'm doing this using while loop. So if I do this and first person comes, so it's gonna obviously print till the my limit. Okay, so it's printing till my limit. So if fifth person comes, okay, if fifth person come, if fifth person come, he doesn't know what is happening because it is not showing me anything. So what I can do, I can use another do while loop. Okay, I'm gonna uncomment it. And if my, see, I have wrote one if condition over here. So if my number is 5, because do is gonna run the code once. Okay, if my number is 5, I'm gonna print the printing limit exceeded. Okay, so the fifth person comes, he will see this. Okay, or he'll get to know, okay, that's why it's not gonna print anymore. Okay, so this was for while and do while loop. I know this example was not one of the best example, but yeah, you got the gist, why to use do while and where to use while. All right, so let's move on to for loop. Okay, so again, for loop we have a see, if I do control and space, it's gonna give me, and I can enter, right? But it's giving me args dot length that we do not need, and I'm gonna write 5 over here. Fine. Now how is for loop working? So this is my initial condition. Yeah, sorry, initial statement. Okay, so my j is also variable. I'm declaring it inside the parenthesis of for loop. J is a variable and I'm starting it with 0. Okay, and till when it will go, similarly like while loop, till when it will go till 5. Okay, and then I'm gonna increment it. Okay, so when j is 0, let me just print something and write j value. So over here, when j is 0, it's gonna print j value as 0. Similarly, it's then after, so these two statements will run first. Okay, so that's how a for loop works. So this two statement we need to satisfy. Okay, so our j is 0 less than 5. Yes, it is. Come inside the loop. Okay, j is 0. Okay, now when j is 0, it's gonna print 0. Now I'm gonna go over here and increment it. Okay, now j is 1. Now my 1 is less than 5. Yes, it is. Come inside the loop. Okay, print the value. Again, I'm gonna increment. Now my j is 2. 2 is less than 5. It's gonna again print the value. So it's gonna keep printing it until unless j is equals to 5. Okay, so j is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it stopped when 5 is not less than 5, and it just came out of the loop. So this was for loop, and we have one more, and we have also known as nested for loop. So let me just do it inside this. So again, I used control plus space, and again let's just say 6. Okay, and let me just write one more statement. I, and I'm gonna say I over here, and over here j value we will print. So this is known as nested for loop. Okay, so in a for loop I have created one more for loop. So inside this for loop also you can create one more for loop. So this is known as nesting of for loops. Okay, so this is also another variable. Okay, it's not the same variable. You cannot keep same variable inside a for loop. Fine. So when my j is 0, okay, 0 is less than 5, it will come inside this. Okay, now again we have a for loop. So j2 is 0, 0 is less than 6, and then it's gonna run this statement. Okay, again it's gonna run it for 6 times. Okay, it's gonna run this for 6 times. Okay, because this is 6 and I'm starting with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have 6. After this is over, it's gonna come out of this loop and it's gonna again increment j, and my j will become 1, and then 1 is less than 5. Again I'm gonna come over here, and again I'm gonna print till 6. So guys, what do you think, how many times it's gonna print? So if I write a, let's just say I have a count variable, initializing it with 0, and over here I'll write count plus plus. So every time I'm printing, I'm incrementing my count, so I'll get to know how much how many times it has executed this block. And after it is over, I'm print my count. So guys, how many times will it print? Okay, let me execute it. So it's printing it 30 times. 6, 5. So it's multiplying it. 6 into 5 times. That means 30 times. Okay, so it is printed 30 times. So this was about loops.